Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the GAIA Daily for May 7th through 10th, 2021. Well, an incredibly dynamic weekend we have here leading up to the Taurus new moon that happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, some parts of the world. And the powerful energy this weekend is that we've got, well, just today, what's happening is that Chiron and Uranus are just exactly 1 degree, one sign apart. And this is part of the lining up that we have of these planets, all at 10 to 11 degrees of their signs. And so today, it's just kind of interesting that Chiron in Aries, Uranus in Taurus, both move from, they're pretty slow moving elements and move from 10 degrees to 11 degrees today. This is activating this star pattern in the sky. And over this weekend, what's happening is that Mercury is coming up to the North Node in their point on the star pattern. And then Mars is coming up into its his place in the star pattern at 10 degrees Cancer. But this weekend leading up, both Mercury, so it's kind of this nation energy moving into this new moon in Taurus. It's a mystical, magical time of possibilities, super dynamic time. But what's going on with this new moon is that the sun and the moon will be right next to Black Moon Lilith in Taurus. This new moon happens at 21 degrees and Black Moon Lilith is at 22 degrees, an exact sextile to Neptune. And this is the magic piece here, because Neptune transits, positive Neptune transits, bring in an opening up to spiritual energies, to Christ consciousness. Also, we have to examine delusions and false beliefs and programming and mind control energies that have kept us from our true God self. This is everything that's going on right now is about our permission, taking back our permission, feeling worthy within ourselves to claim back our God-given right to thrive, to have access to life force as autonomous souls in a human body. This is the fight we're in right now. Everything in the control energies agenda, the globalist agenda, the medical tyranny agenda, is designed to disconnect us from this thing. Now, Chiron in Aries represents this. Chiron is our deepest wounds in Aries. It's about this, where we had to give up our life force, where we had to give up our access to power, where we had to give up who we really are. And this is the story of the supernova soul. You know, in order to squeeze yourself into this lower dimensional reality and make it through the Kali Yuga times and the Piscean age, wow, you really had to go through it. And you disconnected from this bigger spiritual self, your bigger God self, your birthright to thrive, this access to this power. You cut yourself off in order to stay safe, and to the point where you disconnected, to the point where you didn't even know you had access to it. And yet here you are, awake with all of these going deeper asleep people around you. And this is where this incredibly magical moment in this astrology right here, right now, is like a lightning bolt coming down to the earth and revealing. This is the divine timeline trying to land into your life. Are you ready for shit to line up for you? That's what these stars are saying. This incredible combination. It'd be one thing to have these planets all lining up. It'd be another thing just to have Mercury North Node or Mars square Chiron. It's like, but it's all happening at once. And so the transit, because of this, the whole configuration of everything's happening, it makes this Black Moon Lilith, sextile Neptune, an incredibly magical place. It's dark there, though. Black Moon Lilith represents the darkest, most hidden, shadowy places within our psyche. This is programming we've all had to take on just to live on this planet. The worm program, the low self-worth. And this is an active program. What they're using to try to keep us, pull us back down into the lower vibrational frequencies. This astrology is like, if you want to, you're ready right now, you can really just jump out of those lower vibrations and never go back again. It's not who you are. It's a game you played. But this lightning bolt revelation that's happening today as Chiron and Uranus move over from 10 degrees to 11 degrees. This is this revolution of wealth, this lightning bolt revelation of that lighting up. What it's showing you is who you really are in your, who you are as an advanced soul, all these experiences you've had. And this is why you haven't lost your silver cord back to God. This is why you're still conscious, why you're still able to think for yourself, even though you're being psychically attacked. Everybody on the planet is being psychically attacked right now. They want everybody in the remote control cloud matrix. This is the agenda. Nanotechnology, transhumanism. It's frightening to even consider, but it's happening. But you still have this connection to source. And right now, what's being shown is that the Black Moon Lilith, darkest dark, deepest deep, has to do with being in Taurus. It has to do with our self-worth and that worm program, and particularly for supernova souls where you've been persecuted in past lives for who you are. Deep, deep program shamed in the ancestral lineage, particularly on the female side of the ancestral lineage. This is shaking the tree. And that lightning bolt is revealing the true wealth of who you are. And it's interesting because so many supernova souls have been so lost. Like, I know there's something bigger, but I can't figure out who I am, what I'm doing. I know I have something within me that needs to be expressed. I know I have a bigger role to play. But where's the roadmap? Who am I? What am I doing? Right? And this alignment, this moment in time, this next week of astrology, is that lightning bolt moment showing you. Maybe it's like you can't know who you are really as far as with the pieces of the puzzle that you have for the projects we're going to be working on together. But all of a sudden, that way is shown. That the ways and means showing up. This is Taurus. Taurus is like the energy of having what you need to thrive, to support you. And so the lightning bolt moment is you, oh, wow, this is everything this is the only thing that makes sense, is that I've got this way bigger unexpressed potential. We all do as humans, but particularly supernova souls who have kept that silver cord and have held on for dear life to your own God-given right to access God consciousness right here in your own body, your right to thrive. And when that way is shown, this divine timeline landing in your life, putting back the pieces of who you are back together, lining up, because the new paradigm is about holding and supporting. This is the positive picture of Taurus. It's like having what you need and feeling held and supported in this experience, in this existence. And that it's almost like this lightning bolt moment is like, oh, whoa, I can't pretend that I don't have this big spiritual abundance anymore. And now the way has been shown. I can see the path ahead. I can see my place in the divine timeline. No wonder nothing is working for me here, because you're done here. Because so part of the divine timeline energy that's going on has to do with Mercury coming up. You know, Mercury today is at 5 degrees and is going to gradually over the next few days come into that conjunction with the North Node in Gemini. Now, the North Node has just gone from 11 degrees to 10 degrees because it moves backwards, right? And in Gemini. And so that's looking at the first decan, which is the last decan if you're going backwards, this last chapter of the North Node in Gemini, starting right now. And Mercury is there, the ruler of Gemini, having had that crazy, powerful retrograde in Aquarius, now coming to counsel with the North Node, because the North Node is like, How are we going to get to where we're going? What is the path forward, right? It's about destiny. And so with this lining up of astrology, it's about divine destiny and your voice, your expression of the repressed and suppressed power within you. There was a comment that's like really spoke to me around how we've been programmed to play small in, like, feel bad about wanting more in our lives, right? Well, because you sense that there is this bigger thing to be expressed. And the world is like, no, we want mediocrity, right? Just stay here and play along with us in this sandbox, No, that's not even real. You're making it up. You're egotistical, all that stuff, right? And so this astrology is saying, like, you can't just, we're waffling around whether or not you have this bigger purpose and you have this within you that is wanting to be expressed because it's landing home, So this Mercury coming up to the North Node in Gemini, and Mercury is our mind, our conceptual reality, how we are seeing things. Mercury loves being home in Gemini because Gemini can see the other side of the story and loves to analyze and try to figure out. And in this case, with the North Node, it's like we're trying to figure out the way forward. How do we get back to that empowerment? How do we get back to our voice? How do we step on that? And this is kind of the pictures, like I'm seeing this lightning bolt moment, who you are revealed to you, and the path forward. And as soon as you step on that path, you're there, it's happening. And this is where we are, that pushed out of the nest energy. Because Mercury North Node is so powerful in landing home the timeline. But the divine timeline, the optimal timeline, has to do with this activation of Black Moon Lilith, an exact sextile to Neptune. Now, these are exact starting tomorrow through the 16th, through the middle of the month. And so we've got a powerful window of we're being asked to entertain miracles, to find our way back through the keyhole, which means going into those darkest places, because underneath the darkest places is the light of who we are, is the light of the divine timeline. And so it's a time to be open because we've got the star pattern in the sky. We've got this sextile with Neptune, with Black Moon Lilith, the, opening up, clearing away the shadows and the cobwebs of all of the DNA programming and the stories, coming back into the abundance of who you are spiritually, which is exactly in alignment with Christ consciousness. Now, the definition of Christ consciousness is the middle way. It is the God consciousness we're talking about, the free energy of the universe that's everywhere, but accessible to us right here in this form, in this realm. That's what the Christ mysteries are all about. It's a rebirth of Christ consciousness. And this Black Moon Lilith sextile Neptune is saying the divine timeline's trying to land back, open up to miracles, mystical, spiritual revelation. This is what's going on here. This is a time of spiritual revelation, So we want to be open to these energies. And so we've got that, deep in the darkest dark, but, when Mars in Cancer trying to move the energies of grief, move the stuck emotional energies, move this ancestral generational heaviness, and reveal that way, thy will, thy way, the path forward in this divine timeline, and it's just like everything right now wants to distract us from the fact that this is a spiritual awakening. And you can feel the pressure building. This is Mars square Chiron. Mars is coming into exact square with Chiron right for that new moon. And we're starting to feel it today. And the pressure is on to claim back your life force, to claim back your divine right as a sovereign human, to nurture yourself back into this life force, which is Chiron and Aries, the wounds of being disconnected from your truth and your I am. And the I am consciousness is the same as Christ consciousness. It's descended God consciousness in a palpable form, more palpable than the physical reality we've all bought into. And this is this pressure that's building. Nothing can stop this awakening. Nothing can stop this consciousness, and they're doing everything, right? And this vibrational interference energy on the DNA level, a very latent DNA manipulation device to reprogram us, to make us programmable. We're already programmed, but like to make us remote controlled. And so this astrology is like, oh, okay, humanity, you've got to choose. Pick a lane. Are you going there? Or are you going to stand in your God-given right? Are you going to be the rebirth of Christ consciousness? Are you going to stand tall in your righteous truth and be this living demonstration of the divine timeline in action? Because it's about to be revealed. Because this star pattern in the sky that we have, which is Chiron at 11 degrees, moving exactly with Uranus, Chiron in Aries, Uranus and Taurus. And let's just look at that semi-sextile. This very potent energy today. Uranus is a revolution of wealth, which requires a revolution of self-worth. And that's that lightning bolt flashing into our life, revealing to us who we really are and our bigger spiritual potential. And it's saying that to get to the Aquarian age and the new age, we've got to have a complete revolution in the way that we relate to physical form and all of our structures around money and finance. And so Chiron, the wounds of being disconnected from our life force and claiming that back. And that's direct relationship, a buddy relationship with Uranus and Taurus. So the revolution of wealth and the revolution of self-worth is really about our access to life force, because if you're going to go on the transhuman agenda and get your jab, then you're giving up your connection to God's source. You can keep it. It's not mutually exclusive. Like, we have solutions. There's like so many prayers for to undo the damage that's being done right now. And you're part of that plan, right? You got to get on that plan, right? Like, you're on the mop-up crew. You're in the righteous truth of the second coming of Christ consciousness reborn in your heart and soul, in your heart. And so it's a very powerful energy of this, just that one semi-sextile. Then we have 3 other sextiles and another semi-sextile as these planets all lined up. So we got Chiron and Aries at 11, Uranus and Taurus at 11, North Node at 10, Mercury coming up to the North Node of Gemini, and then Mars coming up to Cancer. So the star pattern, it's like coming into form over the next few days, exactly culminating Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as we have this new moon in Taurus. Now, new moons are always a new start, a new cycle. And since Black Moon Lilith is exactly sextile right next to the new moon, the sun and the moon, and exactly sextile Neptune, it's about a spiritual awakening of the light that's been hidden by the dark to light. And so deep mysteries here, because now Saturn isn't too far off. Saturn is in Aquarius at 13 degrees. So you'd add that to the mix. And the star pattern, when all the planets are at these signs, it's a geometry. It's the flower of life, which is the pattern that how life grows. So it's everything speaking to our life force, but it's also speaking to the light body. Because when you have a flower of life pattern and you make it 3D, that's the tube torus, the toroidal field that is the sacred geometry and electromagnetic configuration of our whole reality. And so when souls have this in their birth chart, this semi-sextile, sextile lining up of planets in that flower of life pattern. It's speaking to activation of your higher spiritual power that you are not satisfied in. You can't get to fulfill your mission and your purpose and your energetic karmic dharma, whatever, of this earth realm. You can't just like clear your karma and be done and go home. You've got to come into your full expression. And this is what this astrology is saying. And it's weird because I can feel people being like, well, what does that even mean? And what does it look like? I feel there's might be something more, but what is this full expression? And then it's kind of scary too. What if all these opportunities and bigness and projects and people and this activities, all of a sudden just the floodgates open? And I can feel this kind of like almost like a butterfly feeling, right? So we're back and forth between sucked down in the lower matrix and disconnected and depressed and hopeless, and they want us down there, right? That's the program. That's the mind control program, deliberately targeting supernova souls, anybody outside of the matrix. Those that have already succumbed to the matrix and made their choice to become a robot AI by doing this, taking this step to willfully receive this poison into your physical body, that they're already done, right? You have to understand this is all a play to get you back down there. So no wonder we're being psychically attacked. Like just know that that's going on. It's like, but all of that psychic attack through all of these methods, right? We got propaganda, mind control. We've got a poisoning of our food supply. We've got fluoride interfering with our pineal gland, and we've got chemtrails, and who knows what else is going on, electromagnetic frequencies. All that is mechanical and needs resources. The awakening is organic and ever increasing and cannot be stopped. And does not need the resources is life itself, right? Just this energy of the universe. And it's just, we're going through a photon belt. You cannot stop this spiritual awakening. Now it's finally the time. And that's the interesting energies of like pulled down in the lower matrix, depressed about how everybody's getting programmed, and you have to sit here and watch it like torture, But then there's expansive energies inviting us up above. What if we do live in a firmament? Right? Like, what if it's like, and out there, just above and beyond the constructed matrix, that's where we can access this spiritual revelation energy. And this astrology is about just simply giving ourselves permission to jump out of the lower constructed reality and start living and playing where we belong, where the energies can support us, where the water tastes like wine. Right? Where the promised land. We're starting to see that this is all a play of the mind. And so that means that we can decide, right? Like, what if those that we're all programmed and we're all working through all this conditioning and all this, like everybody, if you're in a body on earth, you're programmed on some level, right? But are the programmable ones going to be, then can they be held in this higher vibrational frequency as an opportunity for them to come and be healed back into the life force as they're ready? The sheeple are like becoming more sheeple for a while, but then one by one, maybe coming out of the pen, who knows what's going on, right? But it's an interesting thing. And but know that there's the energy of divine revelation, which is exactly the divine timeline, you landing home, putting your pieces back together, the lightning bolt of who you are, your path forward being shown. And that's all in alignment with the divine timeline and the divine mystical revelation, the divine intervention that so many souls are in constant vigil. And maybe when you're in constant vigil for this divine intervention, you are the divine intervention. So Don't miss this time. I say this every time, I know, but wow. And I hope you can join me for the new moon in Taurus activation. That's going to be just leading up to that exact time of that new moon at 11 a.m. on Tuesday the 11th, 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday the 11th. And the information to sign up for that is below. If you can't make it live, just know that the replay is there for you, and you sign up, you bring your energy, and you can get the activation you need, the information and the clarity, a lot of clarity trying to come forward around the timeline. This is huge, right? Because Mercury now in Gemini, Venus will be moving into Gemini. Venus, that's where Venus took that retrograde last year around this time. And we've been confused ever since, So maybe Mercury North Node lining up in the star pattern can bring us some clarity. It's almost like we stepped off the timeline for this last year. And, we've just been treading water. And now it's time to get back in line if you want to take the opportunity and the advantage of this. So consider that new moon activation. There's powerful energies for light body activation, for this clarity of your timeline, your direction, and mystical revelation, And what does it mean for you as an advanced soul? Step on that path, that one step on that path, but be the mystical divine revelation for those around you. Standing up in your truth, in your worth, in your wealth. This is the revolution. And underneath those darkest places of programmed low self-worth and shame, which is your lower self, it's not even who you are, but that's where the light is. And when we're saying dark to light, meaning maybe truths revealed, cleaning up the planet from the, darkest things that are going on here. And maybe that dark to light is exactly this moment where these souls excavate the treasure of who they are from underneath the darkness. And in that, seeing the truth of this bigger realization of who you are, and receiving your activation into your light body and your divine timeline. And is that the divine intervention that we're all praying for? There's so many souls on the planet more than ever before, master souls, and particularly souls that were involved with very crucial periods of time through history, working on this project of preparing humanity to move into the Aquarian age. And here we are at the precipice. So that's kind of what I was saying before. It's like lower matrix trying to pull you back in, but then there's this like, wow, I can't believe I made it here. I'm alive on Earth at this time to experience this. It's going to be, it's going to get more dark before it can get more light. It's going to get more weird before there's clarity. But we're right there on the precipice of this great awakening. And so your role is being revealed to you. And the configuration of all this astrology together is definitely that, like, okay, getting pushed out of the nest and into this new possibility. And this is this being in a place of receptivity. This is a beautiful energy with Mars and Cancer of receiving and opening the heart, moving that grief, so that this mystical miracle energy can come into your life. Can you be in anticipation of this? It's like Christmas, right? So incredibly powerful times. Now, this culmination of this new moon, just after the new moon, we're going to be moving into, so the main energy of tension I was talking about was Mars square Chiron, and this trying to nurture ourselves back into our connection to our God-given life force and our I am, and that Christ consciousness, and our immune system and our power, our free energy. But Mars is also in sextile to Uranus. And isn't that interesting, right? So we talked about these planets moving together from 10 to 11, and then Mars is going to come in and square and then sextile Uranus. So the sextile Uranus is another sweet energy because Mars is that active, excuse me, active receiving, preparing the ground, this Taurus energy, preparing the garden, the fertile soil, prepared for that seed to be planted. And this anticipation of the birth of who you really are, this rebirth of your bigger spiritual self and your Christ consciousness. And that's kind of where it's saying, like, there's all these souls on the planet that have fully lived in this energy before and have come specifically in a very deliberate way throughout time to be a part of this bigger plan. A lot of these souls in the support team for the Christ consciousness, the birth of Christ consciousness at the last shift of ages. So these souls on the planet have an actual soul memory of, maybe being present energetically or physically at that mystery of the Christ consciousness at this moment of transfiguration and resurrection, which was a message to all of us that this is what all of us are going to be doing and here to do and are capable of. You do what I can do and more. So can you hold that consciousness that there's all these people that have a direct experience of the mystical revelation? Because this is a big part of the Neptune energy in Pisces. It's like we got to clear all those dark stories of the Piscean age, but we can't really move into the Aquarian age until we reclaim the mystical spiritual revelation that was the hallmark of that birth of Christ consciousness at the beginning of the Piscean age. And so you are this living revelation, but it might not mean that, might not really make sense to you right now, but can you hold in your consciousness these souls that have had a direct experience of the light body transmutation, mystical divine revelation, this direct connection, God coming down and talking to you in your life through, maybe through the Christ consciousness, through these masters that are back in a body now, but don't need a body, bodhisattvas, all over the planet, and these lights are going on as they remember who they are. And nothing can stop that wave of consciousness. We've never had more advanced souls on the planet. And maybe they don't exactly know who they are and remember yet, but this is exactly this astrology. It's a sacred remembering. Be willing to entertain miracles. This energy of miracles is up beyond the firmament, beyond the lower matrix. And we got to reach back up and start establishing ourselves there in that promised land, in that 5D earth with the new mother as our way is shown. So if you can hold the consciousness in that picture of these souls that have the imprint, literally soul memory in their field of this transfiguration experience that we're all being invited into, and that picture of these souls going supernova, that lightning bolt coming into their life. Oh, I remember now. And that sacred memory is encapsulated in our DNA, but it's been latent, right? And so this light coming in, this flash of lightning, this revelation energy is lighting up that God code, and that's the deal with the whole medical tyranny agenda, AI transhumanism agenda, is to short circuit our God code. Maybe it'll have the opposite effect though, right? Maybe it'll boomerang. And that whole program can just, as it dismantles, it's actually activating the God code. Because the God code in our DNA has been hidden and piled up with disease introduced to humanity throughout time. And here we're coming to the edge, right? We're coming to the full story. We're overcoming all disease. No wonder they're doing everything they can to keep us scared. you know, but water off a duck's back, right? Because we know who we are now. But imagine seeing these lights coming on, these souls going supernova all over the planet. And I can just see it like boom, boom, light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. And it's exciting time. So keep your energy there. And if you can't see it for yourself and don't know what I'm talking about, imagine that for your soul brothers and sisters and for these incredibly advanced master souls that are incarnate in bodies with this soul memory and ready to demonstrate. See it for them. And that might help you, trigger your own soul memory of the Christ experience. And imagine what that would have been like. I just feel like there's this group of souls getting activated. Thousands of souls over hundreds of years held space for that Christ event. It wasn't one man. And those souls are here as a living embodiment of the Christ themselves on the planet right now. And then there's all these other souls that have experienced it through secondary, but still have that soul memory. So it's like a domino effect. And it all starts right now. This astrology is like lightning bolt coming in, revealing the way, revealing the truth, revealing your abundance. Here you go. Let's go. Let's do it. Everything was not about you suffering in this lower dimensional prison. It's about breaking free. And so this is the beginning of the Great Awakening on the spiritual, this mystical revelation. So maybe as we can hold this in our heart and be that receptive ground, we got this beautiful Taurus energy preparing the ground, the Mars in Cancer, receptivity, active nurturing ourselves back into our abundance, and be in that anticipation, in your life, be in that place of open to receive, hungry for spirit to just descend into the depths of the darkest places and reveal that light. So incredibly powerful times. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay present with these energies. It's just epic. And you're epic. So the thing about talking about Mercury in the North Node, huge activation. Like I said, we're just starting to feel that in the next couple of days, and that will be intensifying leading up to, over the weekend and into this new moon. And it's that divine timeline energy. But of course, we can't talk about the North Node without the South Node. So as Mercury comes to the North Node, it means it's opposing the South Node. And this is a huge energy of what supernova souls have really held you back in the shame programming, is the South Node Sag energy, which is about feeling like you're stuck in the past because you didn't fulfill your mission, or you did it wrong, or you got thwarted, or you failed God, or all these stories. And it's like this heavy burden that supernova souls carry in their field, blaming themselves, holding the shame of the collective, blaming yourself for all, because you were a soul that was there for the beginning of the visioning of this whole planetary evolutionary experience. That's made you feel responsible on this deep subconscious level. And then, right, the psychic pain of having this love and devotion, the only way you got here as an advanced soul into this 3D reality was your love and devotion for Earth and humanity, your ability to love, your big, big spiritual heart. And now you have to stand here and be witness to this takeover and not feel, it's that feeling like you can't do anything, except for that what happens when all these memories happen and these supernova go supernova, right? So it's not that we can't do anything. We're doing it right now. We've already done so much where it's actually crucial to this evolution, these advanced souls, right? We never get past this point. And so that South Node Sag is coming up, because if we're ever going to figure out where we're at and where we're going, we got to resolve that And the thing is like, as you come into this way and you're revealing of the way and thy way and the will and the divine timeline and your gifts, you know, and you step on that path, on that North Node Mercury, you know, expression of this bigger part of you, those issues resolve. Once you're moving and doing, you're, you know, feeling like you're on your path, feeling like you're moving forward in the way that you're into that full expression, then all those issues of the past, feelings of failure around your earth evolution, they completely go away. Because you know that place where you're like, when you have that realization, oh wow, that seemed really shitty, but it got me here, so it was necessary. And this is the place that we're about to be at, advanced souls, you know. And can we claim this of like, whoa, I don't even know how I made it through all this, but it got me here and it was fully worth it, because now I see the way and I'm moving along and I'm working together with my team, and it's so exciting. And oh my God, I can't believe we get to do this together. That's what you came here for. That's the energy. That's this star lightning bolt lighting up in the sky, this flash of light that's like activating the DNA soul memory of this direct access to God consciousness. So very interesting times, and we'll see how it plays out, but be open in that fertile ground to this activation and soul memory. And are you ready to put your pieces back together and walk in that robe of light of God consciousness and be that living, breathing example as we step forward into building this new age? And this is a huge energy because we've got these numbers of 11, all these planets lining up, 11 on the new moon on the 11th. And so that is really powerful. And then we've got 22, right? So Black Moon Lilith and Neptune. This is the huge energy right now, which is why we need to entertain miracles. We need to make this work for us. We need to go to that dark and excavate the light. But the 22 is a master builder number. It's two 11s, right? And so it's about, an 11 is about two pillars facing the opposite and building something new, possibility, a portal kind of. And then when you put 11 and 11 together, you have two portals, and then you have a dimensional portal. And so 22, though, is about building, because it's 2 and 2 is 4, and 4 is 4 walls, right? So it's trying to find stability in new energetic frequencies. And that's this master, the reincarnated master builder race. They're, you know, here on the earth, ready to build new earth. I have no idea who they are and what they're doing, but the giants have risen again, right? And so incredibly powerful activation of the dream of what we're doing here. This is a dream, not a nightmare. You know, that was a bad movie we got sucked into. And as soon as we say, no, I'm not playing that movie, and we recognize it as a movie, that's our ticket out. So this divine revelation is coming, and then it's almost like inviting us to suck out of the firmament and into higher dimensional possibilities. They want us to think that this is all there is, and it's going to die, just like our body. It's all it is. You just get this one life. It's all it is. And, you know, it's just, we just live and die. It's like, no. That goes against everything of who you are on a soul level. There is so much more. And are you ready to put yourself back together and line up with this bigger purpose? The time is now. And claim. So your bigger self and your God coding, your memory, soul memory, and your light body activation is exactly in alignment of that divine timeline. And those gifts being revealed. And it's at this point where it's like, this is this low self-worth on a spiritual low self-worth. It's like in that lower self that gets us caught in all these old stories, and it's like, are you ready? Is it time now? We don't have a choice anymore. This pushing out of the nest is like, you got to stand up in your righteous truth and value who you are and what you've gone through to be here right now, to lead the way for humanity and hold sacred these gifts. And the whole world around you wants to deny, negate, just devalue. Oh, it doesn't even really exist. Put your energy over here on issues, problems, issues, blah, 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 blah. All the shit you can't do anything about, you know? And it's like, that's death for the supernova soul. You can't go there anymore. You can't head in that direction anymore. You got to claim who you are and your bigger self. And it's just, if it's only an inkling within you that there's something more that's been wanting to express, and everybody around you saying, oh no, that's, you know, why can't you just be happy with what you have, you know? And it's like, it's not about wanting more material things. It's about wanting to, we either have to go to our full expression as the higher intuitive beings that we really are, or we have to succumb to the transhumanism, robot, cloud, remote controlled organism. We don't have a choice. And this is this astrology. It's like, okay, you don't have a choice. So get out of the firmament. Get on the divine timeline. They want you to think there's nothing else that can catch you, but you know more and better. You are fearless. Fear doesn't even exist in your reality because you are so badass. You've gone through so much to be here right now. Claim it. Claim your prize. Claim your abundance. Let the truth be revealed. So have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully I'll see you on that new moon activation, bringing your energy. Even if you can't make it, just your awareness of these concepts at that time, we can all receive from each other on the Supernova Light Ship. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Leese. Namaste.